You said you need some advice?
No, that's how you would have been.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Shit.
I could be. I could be. I could just be on live, just making sure I'm straight. In order to make sure this live goes smoothly, make sure my internet present smoothly. Then as soon as I get off.
Gang got a son. He got. It's okay, man. Salute. We see you.
We'll see. We'll see.
What's up, man? Talk to me. What's going on?
But yeah, man. Yeah, so um, first and foremost, I want to ask you, and I'm pretty sure for the people who don't know, where did the name Phase One come from? We need to know that. What does that mean?
Okay, I'll keep it simple. I was 13 years old. I had a dream. Somebody came to me and said, "Yo, your face." I wrote it down. It was Phaseone, and then it just came to me to switch the spelling of phase to Faiseone. I remember writing in blue ink on white construction paper, and then it became an acronym. Stands for Forever and Inspiration Seeking Eternity. Omari Never Ends. And this was, again, 13 years old. I'm just getting out of 7th grade. So before then, I was Young Cosmic. And before that, I was Young Rage. You know what I mean? And all of that was warranted. Because if you would have heard my music back then, as you know, I was definitely in a rage, but also I was in tune with what people are now calling the cosmos and the ether. So yeah, it became phase one. It was a mission. I understood it was going to be a mission that needed to be carried out up to a certain point of time, an event. And I placed myself, Omar, divine love being, there are beasts, there are wolves, dragons out here waiting to devour you if you overstand for you, you know what I mean, to be worried. If you're moving in the right direction, there's also no reason for you to be worried. If you're moving out of order, that's the only time he's going to come to you. That's the only time your name going to be called. That's the only time you get stepped to. You understand? So that's what it is. It's a mission. Phase one, forever and inspiration, seeking eternity. Omari never ends. You go look at what Omari means, you understand a whole nother mission, because that's talking about a high priest or the highest priest. A lot of times I just say high priest so people don't think I'm doing the ego tripping thing. It's just these are the tones I was given. Omari, Shaman, Hargrove. And Shaman or shaman was saying a healing man or a medicine man or a seer or a man of the sun. Sham, Shem, a shaman or shaman. And Omari is a warrior for one, but it also meant the highest priest. And Hargrove was saying of the grove, all right, connected to divine nature. So it's just a mission. It's all in people's tones. You better pay attention. You meet somebody and you find out what their name means. You better go look up what it means immediately. You meet somebody, you see what color they got on. You better know what that color means and know why and what day it was that you met them and what time you met them and what's the first word they said, what's the last word they said with y'all interaction. All right, because that'll be the difference between you walking with somebody that's going to seek to destroy you or walking with somebody that's going to seek to employ you. It's going to be two different realities, and a lot of people don't know that science. So you definitely pay attention to when somebody's born, what's the name they have with them, and what's the name they choose. You know what I mean? As they grow older and take on what people call nicknames, right? Was just speaking about picking away at an identity. Like if I say nick and pick at something, it's just tearing away at an identity that they may not want to still be there anymore. And people like their nickname more than their original name. And then you don't allow certain people to call you that nickname, or you don't allow certain people to call you your sacred name or the name that your mother or father gave you, right? And there's a difference. The sacred name you don't tell anybody except those who are most are sacred to you, and then the ones who have that name for you at birth, you may be like, yo, you can't call me the nickname. You understand that? So it's just power in names is my point. That's going to mean a lot as we continue to build or continue to build. But the point is, phase one was given to me by tone, phonetically, and I understand more about what even the phase meant. It was up until I was like 20 something, maybe 22 years old, that I understood and remembered about Faisal, Sheikh Dawood Faisal, who came as a teacher to Dr. Malachi York, a leader, a guider to Dr. Malachi York as he was 12 years old, being placed in his rightful position to be the son of righteousness, right? And that's why I put in my book, Out of the Darkness, first shall be last shall be first, which was just an introduction to the Atbash cipher, which is a code that explains to you how to do the exact same thing I'm explaining. Take names, flip them around, and realize what the true meaning is. Like if I show you Baphomet, with the Atbash cipher using the Hebrew Aleph Beta or alphabet, you'll find that it means Sophia. And Sophia would have been the one that fell into what was referred to as the demiurge world. And demiurge is saying what? Demi or semi, the half of you that is operating with the reptilian brain in control, or the animalistic nature in control. That's the urges. When people operate off of the urges or the lustful self, right? Which is what caused this place to be quarantined. When you hear people say, like I was talking to you earlier about Prison Planet, that's coming straight from Dr. Melikazi York. This place had to be quarantined because lust made people sick. It took over the body. It took over the brain, which is what the Baphomet emblem represents, by the way, because you'll realize that the Baphomet goat head, all right, is what? An animal. You understand? Needless to say. And you just have the torso as a human being, and then you have the hindquarters of an animal. So if you ask which one is in control or which one has most dominance, it would be the animal. But they try to say, oh, no, it's both. It's duality. And this is where you stop people at. Even when people say, yo, duality is as above, so below. Stop them there. That doesn't make mathematical sense, and it doesn't make scientific sense. And when I say mathematics, I'm just saying mathema, which means science, by the way. And science also means to know something. So if you really know what you're talking about, the sacred geometry has to come into play. The mathematics has to come into play. How is duality as above, so below? When you're looking at left and right. If I say, yo, I'm about to go left, you go right. Did we go the same direction?
Nope.
You there? Okay. If I say, you look up, I look down. Did we look the same way?
No.
Okay, let's give up and down a task. You beat this nigga up, I'm going to beat this other nigga down. Did we do the same thing to them? No.
Yeah, no,
I
because
know.
we still beat him up.
Yeah, I beat him up, you beat him down, or you beat him up, I beat him down. The point is, if I go up the stairs, you went down the stairs. All right, I played music upstairs. You fix sandwiches downstairs. We're not doing the same thing. Is my point, right? So let's
Right.
say, uh, as above, so below would mean what? We look at the simile as it's saying it's going to be the same way. If I say it'll be on earth as it is in heaven, that's correspondence. That's as above, so below. But that's the law of correspondence that takes you back to Heka. It takes you back to the six-pointed star science. Okay, because if you take and draw a six-pointed star and flip it upside down, you'll still have the six-pointed star. But if you take and draw the pentagram, flip it upside down, you don't have the same shape. They're not pointing in the same direction. As a matter of fact, you just went against the natural order because the spirit or the fifth element needs to be on top. You got your fire, your water, your earth, and what? Your shu or your air. All right. And then what happens? Your spirit being on top, being flipped, would mean that you just place your mind's eye down in the root. And that's what happened when people started to follow Baphomet because they were misled. And I don't know why people don't understand they can't be misled. And these same people say, oh, it's just a symbol. Then why are you using the symbol? What's the point? The point is there was somebody who called themselves Brother Panic, right? Brother Panic. He was literally telling you who he was with. Panic. All right, he was of Pan. And if you go look up where Panic came from, it came from the god Pan, which was a goat. All of the goats, a Zazilla of Yom Kippur, all right, the scapegoat. You have Uncle Sam, who looks like a goat also. You got all the goats that align, the devil images of the goats. Why are the satanic people using that image? What's their purpose? What's the reason for them using it? It goes back into things being out of order. When you hear somebody would awaken, he would let out a shriek, and people be like, "Oh shit, what is this?" And it would cause them to be in a frenzy, just like what they did with what just happened in 2020. You understand? Where they said, "Oh, we have a national emergency," and let that siren off, and people started to be in a state of panic and fear. You understand that? So just my point is, pay attention to tones, pay attention to people's names. You'll know who they are when you just look at our names. Who am I? What am I coming here to do? Phase of the universe, as you may have seen in some of these pictures and images they put out on the web. You understand? So that's as above, so below, as within, so without. If I'm here to inspire, then it ends up in what? Spirit, or spiraling in. And if I'm spiraling in, I'm also what? Spiraling out. The law of correspondence. A lot of people forget the law, and they think that if I say, yo, it's time to walk in the true light, then I don't understand the science of darkness. I don't know what made them think that. In order for us to turn on the light, it had to first be what?
Dark.
Okay. And what people don't know or may not know on a grand scale is darkness and light are Masonic terms. They don't have anything to do with just the physical occurrence of allowing for a filament to be charged up so that you can see it glow. No, we're talking about whether or not you know a thing. And you could kick it like you know all day up and down. But if, let's say, it comes time to change an engine on a car, right, you have to switch out the engine for another engine to be placed in so that car can run correctly, right? And then I bring the car to you. You said you were the proper mechanic. You said you were the head mechanic. You said you were the top one who could do all of it. I bring it to you, and you don't know what to do. But you taught the great game. As a matter of fact, you might have got a lot of people to send in money based off of that great game you were talking, and then we asked you to show results, and you can't show results. You understand? Because you didn't know for real. And you don't have to know to talk. You could just sound like you know what you're talking about. You understand?
Yeah.
And you know that that's how a lot of people got ahead in this game. Listen to what I'm telling you. They talked as if they knew what they were speaking, but they just knew about what they were talking. They didn't know what they were talking about. One more time. They know about what they're talking. They don't know what they're talking about. It is not hard to sound like you know what you're talking.
Heartbreak detected.
Do is regurgitate or replicate somebody that's already done it. The reason why they don't want phase one on a lot of these platforms is because I was touched by right knowledge in Uwapu. Before I was even born, my Umi was reading the books. My Uber was walking with Dr. Melakazi York. Physically, they were in the classes, physically there, paying attention. So was Bobby Hemmett, trying to catch all of the gems he could catch. Everybody was trying to get down to Tama Ray because they couldn't figure out how and why this one being, this central being, El Kut, this central being is placing all of these pieces of information, these jewels, on all these different four corners of this planet Earth. How was he doing that and covering all these grounds and speaking all these languages, producing all these books? They were dumbfounded. Yeah, that means when we found them, they was dumb. And then after they walked away with the impact that they received, they still found it in their own hearts. Oh, I've surpassed the man that I can't even figure out. They can't even figure him out, meaning they cannot put a mathematical equation to say this is who he is. They can't figure him out, meaning they don't have the mathema or the mathematics. What is math? All right, that's the truth, the balance. How does this balance out in the center? And the thematics as what this covers, all that is covered so that we can have the science. Or they don't have the mathematics of Dr. Melakazi York. So how dare they ever place themselves next to him? I have a question for anybody that says they're one of the elders. All we want to know is what is your name and which elder are you? All we want to know is who are you? And if your brother is Dr. Melakazi York, all right, so that we're going to address this really quickly because people would, hey, shout out to whoever made the video with the, who had my video with the song where it says, why would I scream out free Rashad Jamal? He wasn't screaming out free Doc. Shout out to whoever made that video because all you did was just brought more people to the true light. You may not have known, but the reason why a lot of people don't say my name, family, whoever made the video, is because it does not work against me. You can say phase one is the most bitch ass nigga I ever seen in my life. He be riding unicorns and shit to the store. Niggas gonna be like, this nigga phase one know where unicorns is at? And they gonna come to me. You cannot defeat green light with green light. Using my name and my tones is just gonna bring more green light. You don't understand that? So the point is, I never said Rashad Jamal didn't say free Dr. York. This shows me what type of followers y'all are. You didn't even listen to the video. In the video, it said, why would I say free Rashad Jamal? Why would I scream free Rashad Jamal? He wasn't screaming out free Doc. Y'all say he said free Dr. York. I say he wasn't screaming out free Doc. You know, he's still screaming freedom. That means you putting work and action in, letting everybody know they in there and making it a point for everybody to get them up out of there. You would go as far as saying you will walk in the court and scream that shit to the judge themselves because they need to be up out of there. No, that's not what y'all did. That's not what a lot of y'all wannabe teachers did. Okay, what y'all did was y'all said he was in there and acted like it was over. Say, yeah, they locked up. Yeah, free Dr. York. And then what would y'all do? And free Larry Hoover and free Matulu. Well, guess what? Larry Hoover and Matulu already get press coverage. They already get called political prisoners in your communities. They already get looked at as if something happened wrong with the government. But as soon as Dr. Melakazi York name come up, That's the only person where pleading guilty by the government system or the counterintelligence program. That's the only person where, oh, he was just a teacher, who he learned from, where he gets knowledge and information from. But y'all want to tell me that somebody who's literally repeating the sciences that are in one of his books, the Holy Tablets, is divine insight and channel his information from the ethers. And y'all don't question him. So let's get this on record. I don't want Rashad Jamal in prison, especially being, I don't know whether or not he's innocent or guilty. And I never have said he's innocent or guilty. I don't want him in prison if he's innocent. I don't want something to happen to any of the brothers who even brought y'all to the true light, one of the ones that they know nothing about. We don't want them in prison for that. If you go and watch the movie, why does everybody want to go from leader to like one of the people who created the cosmos? You start with what you're doing. You're a leader. Start there. And if you have a brother who's also a leader, then here will be my question. Everybody got that from Dr. Arcazecansee York. The deeper science of the Anunnaki and the 24 elders, or the 23 elders, or the 25 seats, the 25th seat being Ellicott in the center. Okay? You count the 23 in the Holy Tablets, while a lot of people are saying 23 elders. It's really 24 seats plus that other seat, which is 25 seats. And they're always shifting. So the question right now would be, okay, who's in the 19th seat? 19th elder would be Yanun, moving over into the 25th seat. Where is the person who's going to fill that particular seat? Who's the third elder, the fourth elder, and fifth elder right now? What is your name right now? What were your tones before? And what is your mission? Okay, I'm also trying to figure out, how are y'all the creators of the cosmos all of a sudden when you were guiders, you were leaders, you led people to sciences, you had missions and tasks that each and every one of you, and why I'm saying you is, if you ask phase one, are you one of the elders? Yeah, I'm one of the elders. Now ask me if I'm one of the 24. I don't know that. I haven't been told that. Because then when you make statements like that, then we have more questions to ask you. The same way there was somebody that was on the web saying, I am Melchizedek, I'm Melchizedek, and he didn't know his own story. I'm saying, you didn't read your own story? Well, I'm beyond all that. I'm beyond the skin. Well, you weren't, okay, you being beyond all of that, you didn't even read the story of the exact word you're using. Yo, why everybody want to jump to that? You're a leader. So the point is, we don't want him in jail. We don't want him locked up. I have the right to ask him, Farrakhan, or anybody else who claims that Dr. Arcazecansee York is his brother, right? I have the right to ask all of them, then why y'all leave him in there? Rashad Jamal, you built up a lot of following. Hey, we watched you. We paid attention to every move you made. We saw you. We remember when you called the women bitches because they didn't want to share. You said because they didn't want to participate in polygamy, that they had dropped in frequency and they became a bitch. Then we saw that. That hurt. That hurt our feelings, because the women, or the Mother Earth ones, the ones who are in tune with the Mother Earth, the original ones who interacted with the non-ether in the beginning, all right, the ones who received of the rays of the sun, Ra, in the beginning, where you had the eggs of the Mother Earth impregnated by the non-ether rays, all right, the double X chromosome, which gives us the six-pointed star if you put the two X's together. How could they ever be bitches because they don't want to share a being that isn't even supreme? The XY chromosome being is not a supreme being, at least not yet. That's why I said the evolution. Look at the word Eve, Evo, all right? Eva, Ava, life, living being, will not be televised, all right? Meaning you will not be able to place this into a television and say, this is where evolution is taking place. And because people are not watching television all the time now, they're all in their phones, you won't be able to look on somebody's Instagram live or TikTok video or anything that they place online and say, this is where the evolution is taking place. It's going to be a spark. And anybody who receives that spark, especially men, knows that you must always, meaning from the center into every direction, always, perpetually and always in every direction from that center, respect the mother. Meaning you think you know what she is or who she is because you're looking at her. And Arcade, you got a child. So I know you thought you knew who your woman was, or your mate was, or your wife was, right? Before you had a child with her. But I know up and down and left and right, and all around, that now you see her a whole nother way. Am I right?
Facts.
And you're gonna continue to respect her. You understand that? I'm not giving you no lecture. I'm saying this is gonna happen. Not you're going to, like, you better do this. It's not an imperative. I'm saying it's going to happen that child ages. Okay, you're going to respect your the mother over and over. It's just going to happen. So we were birthed of a mother, right? Let's say our mother, they're gonna find their way home anyway. Okay, so I fell back from that because I wanted people to be held accountable for the souls that they were grabbing. You don't just throw a whole bunch of chopped up information at them and you have nowhere to take them. They have to be taken somewhere, guided somewhere. And if you're not guiding them to the center, where did you take them? Dr. Melikazi York is still alive. It's not over. I don't know why people said that. My first introduction to Rashad Jamal was somebody else telling me that he was saying to them that Dr. Melikazi York information was outdated and he was the updated version. Listen, let's put this on record. Nobody in history has amounted to Dr. Melikazi York. You cannot be him. You have to be who you are. If you're getting divine insight and information from the cosmos, we're not going to challenge that that's possible because we know it's possible. All we want to know is, why are your acronyms aligning directly to what I'm reading right here in this book, The Holy Tablets? Delivered exactly as he delivered it, except it's limited. So I'm gonna do this real quick. Hey, Arcade, with everything you learned, I really want you to answer this question for me. Please explain to me what non-ether is.
Non-ether at its whole, I don't know what non-ether at its whole is.
Well, I'm just saying, do whatever you know.
For whatever I know, non-ether, from nine being the highest number, I feel like from just the research I've done, non-ether is not only is it, I think it's, does it have to do with your hair? Because I don't,
Okay.
I feel like you about to break it down
No, I
deep.
want you, listen, I really want you to take like a good 3 minutes and
Okay.
explain what, and the reason why I'm saying this is Rashad Jamal one of your teachers?
No,
Okay,
but
he didn't learn
I
that, he
did
didn't,
listen to them. Like my teachers,
okay,
who I listen to is Bobby Hemmett. Like
okay,
that's who I grew up.
oh,
Like my
okay.
first coming up.
Where did you hear non-ether from?
Um, Actually, Dr. Yoke, because
Okay,
I've been looking at, yeah. I used to watch Dr. Yoke too. All the elders, the real elders. Rashad Jamal was like more new to me. Like he was like the most recent version of a teacher. So I of course I listened to him, but my teachers were Bobby Hemmett. I ain't really watched too much of Malachi, but one thing I find myself keep watching. You remember when he was talking like to a crowd? He was like he had cornrows. He was outside talking to a crowd.
yeah, that's 1992 Mount Zion.
That's one of the
Yeah.
main ones I
So
watched.
yeah, he spoke on ether then. Ether as far as the Ethiopians. Ether utopian is what he was saying.
Mm.
And he built up on that also. The reason why, because you got the word Athen or Athen, which meant ether, all right, itself, and that meant to burn. You go look at the book of Malachi, chapter 4, and you'll find more of it, where it's talking about a day that was going to come where everything will be burning like an oven, right? It was saying that the day itself, that time period, will burn like an oven. And we've already walked past that from the years 1970 to the year 2000, which was the first 30 minutes of the hour. Dr. Melikazi York spoke of all 1,030 years, all right, which would be 30 minutes. And then from the year 2000 to now, you hear people talking about Project 2030. That's all Dr. Melikazi York. And he explained everything that was going to happen up to this point. He hasn't missed a beat. He hasn't been wrong. And now we're in that sun cycle. Okay, the golden ages or the sun ages were resurrected, all right, and now people have lost their way. The word that came to me was people are waking up, but they walking around in circles. They don't know where to go. So we will not deny that Rashad Jamal found some of you. We won't deny that's not going to be counted in his divine violation. The only
Let me see. Cut out. Oh snap. Let me see. Hold on. Let me turn it back on.
Yo,
Yo, what's up? Did you hear my whole question?
you asked, yeah, you were basically asking who is Dr. York and who are the Nuwapians?
Yeah, like for the people that don't know, like who is this person?
Okay,
So,
so Dr. Melakazi York is the master teacher of all time. And when everybody speaks on leaders, Buddhas, to be like L, all right? Ask any of the people who dare, which is fine. You can dare all you want to, okay? How many languages do they speak? Most of the time, they're going to say one or two, right? Dr. Melakazi York speaks 19 languages plus, okay?
dang,
How many languages have they introduced or revitalized for the people they came to lead? A lot of these people speak English, right? Anglo-Saxon. Okay, they speak the Anglo tongue. A lot of these people speak, if anything, Hebrew, maybe Hebrew, or Spanish, possibly. Okay, if they paid attention in 10th grade and 11th grade in high school. Okay, but they don't speak 19 languages. You know, 19 languages is so many languages that when you say that shit, it don't even sound like a lot. Watch, he speak 19 languages, and you know, it's so many languages. Like, yo, I got a question real quick, Arcade. Name
what's up?
19 languages. Go, I'm counting.
Spanish, English, Hebrew, Italian. I don't know it. Chinese, Japanese.
This nigga just finna start naming ethnicities. Shit, Native American.
Yeah, I can't go up to 19.
Hey, you see how you struggled to, and I would have did it too. Shit, don't feel bad. You see how you struggled to name 19?
Yeah,
Try speaking them. That's one category. You understand that?
right.
That if we stayed on that category, just to name them will take up the rest of his life.
That's crazy.
It took you 30 minutes just to do that. I don't understand. So that's one category. So automatically, I think we can end the live here because to speak 19 languages, one more time, to speak 19 languages fluently. I ain't even hit you with that. You ain't know that was coming.
Mm-mm.
Fluently. Because niggas don't speak English fluently. You understand that?
Right.
So to speak 19 languages fluently blows everybody out of the water. It blows the people who were the subjects of the religious books out of the water. Because the only ones you could try to even put close to him would be people that were in the religious books, but then you find out even they fall short. Because they didn't speak all them damn languages. You understand? Not
Mm-hmm.
only that, but translated the books that people were using for their religious centers, translated them word for word. He's written over 500 books. And we're talking what came after that, what was revealed after that, the books that people found out about after that. You understand what I'm explaining to you? How many books have you written, Arcades?
One.
Okay, and congratulations on that. And I've written only at this point 17. Okay,
Right.
and I'm saying only for real because remember what I'm put up against.
Right.
Because
Right.
you know you man called Dr. Melakazi York. You understand where I'm going with this?
Right.
And I would love to be great. Also, I don't understand why people think I'm exempt. Yeah, greatness is great, except if this were a sport, you would go based off of what people brought to the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you see how long it's taking to get it is worth. Okay, that was about to be developed into a modern day Heliopolis or Atlantis. This is
Damn.
not something small. You understand that? Now, I'm just going to ask you this. This is a real quick question. With all of the conscious community leaders, if they would like to call themselves that, or spiritual leaders, or woke leaders, or thought leaders, or whoever, how this works. So they were saying, yo, we should say free Rashad Jamal. Why you can't say free Rashad Jamal too? So what you heard was a response to that, saying, why would I scream free Rashad Jamal? He wasn't screaming out free Doc. And it wasn't until Rashad Jamal got wrapped that y'all wanted to finally say his name. And now y'all saying, oh, we should free everybody. Everybody who did that, that was disappointed, right? Because Dr. Melakazi York is our elder, and he was hit with 135, not 16. 16 years been passed. Dr. Melakazi York would have been out even before the 16, if that's what he was hit with, and you wouldn't be having these conversations because that would have been before all this internet explosion shit that people think is a woke movement. It would have been over. But because he's been in there, he's an elder, he's been going through all of this. He's been tortured in the prison system. He's been struggling with certain things and suffering from certain things like angioedema, according to what people know about. All right, fighting these people over and over and over again for the truth to get out, having to deal with people still slandering him, having to deal with the young pharaohs and the rest of y'all who went out there and made these videos, having to look out and see people abandon him and leave him and turn on him and all of this. He's been dealing with that since I was, get this, 3 years old. I am 26 now. Do you know I entered into pre-K with this going on in the back of my brain, that they just was taking the master teacher from us? You know, I went into middle school, high school, all this before y'all. You find videos of me at 16 years old, 16-year-old Mason teaches class hidden knowledge. You know I've been on this my whole life, and you don't think that make us feel some type of way when somebody come out and not only teach, we don't mind you teaching, but then you started to play the role? It's painful because the person is still here. That's like me trying to, let's say I do a movie about Arcaze, right? And I play Arcaze, and I'm like, Arcaze used to be a great man, and this was over, you know what I mean? It's the same way they did him, and da 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 da. And Arcaze, you sitting there like, what the fuck? I'm still here. I'm still here. No, look, what if I just change my name and be like, yo, Faise and I come out and teach whatever you teach. Or I start making the videos while I'm pointing at the stuff behind me and I'm rapping, and I got the big word in the middle, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just tackling the same type of, you know what I mean? I make a video called The Blue Lotus. Take the flow and everything. Now there will be some people saying, yo, man, it's not that deep. You know, everybody can do music, anybody can point at the screen, anybody can rap about Blue Lotus, and you'll be over here like, but nigga, I'm still here. I'm not even finished. How you gonna replicate something that's not done?
Type shit.
So he never minded. We never minded people teaching is what I'm saying.
Right.
I want to make sure people know how I'm gonna leave out with it is I shook. All right. Again, I don't want Rashad Jamal in jail or in prison. I don't want him to suffer. I don't want him in any of the things that I heard. I don't want him to be going through that stuff. You know what I mean? That's painful to hear. I just want people to understand that it's like, yo, we deal with one thing at a time. It's like how y'all all knew who Dr. Melikazi York is, and y'all didn't. I'm by myself out here fighting for him to get out. There's no way people can walk away and abandon him and call ourselves anything that has anything to do with the genetic regulation of a whole people. When you leave the one who sparked the movement in there, in the belly of the beast, that's what I'm talking about. So that's why I say, again, just to bring it back around, Faise, Faiseone, forever an inspiration. I'm always inspiring. That's what I plan to do. I plan to take people back to the center. I'm spiraling in, inspiring. Okay? And that causes a spiraling out, which is why people feel like they need to ignore me, because those waves are hitting them. But all they have to realize and remember is this, or real truth, not even real lies, real truth. Because we're done with the lies. All right? Is that they just get the Fibonacci sequence, or call it the Fibonacci sequence, so you can know the secret of it, the sacred of it. It all starts at zero, family. It all starts at home. It all starts at the center. It all starts at the axis point. If you're talking about going within, you better have your bio in order. What do you mean by bio? Well, it means life, literally. I mean, if I say bio, I say beneath formation, in formation, out formation. Bio. It's the easiest way for you to remember it. Beneath formation, in formation, out formation. You better have that in order. And when you have that in order, you won't be abiotic, okay? Or going against life in the order that was put here, or risen here, not set, risen here. All right? Because why? It's all about the truth. The truth finds its way to the center. If you ever hear somebody say that truth always finds itself to the center. And once you figure out that always is a dot word within itself, or a central neutral self, saying that it's going in every direction perpetually, always, okay, it's not hard to find your way back to it, the dot. All right? So if I say Fibonacci, okay, listen to it. Let me say it slow. Fibonacci. What is a fib? Fib is a lie. The fib is not G. The fib is not going to help you get to the center. The lie is not going to help you get to the center. And I know, especially when we built up a reality for ourselves, okay, and projected it outward. Sometimes it's to protect yourself. Sometimes it's because you're afraid to face the truth. Sometimes it's ego, super ego, id. It depends, okay, because id is just saying ID or identification or whatever it is, this illusion, this synthetic you that you've attached yourself to. Sometimes it's hard for you to set that down and say, I am not phase one. Phase one is an event. I am not Rashad Jamal. Rashad Jamal is an event. I am not Arcazecansee. Arcazecansee is an event. All of this comes back to the center. And you want to go deeper? It never left. It never left the center, which is why I can look at each and every one of you and tell you who you are, because I know about the dot. The fib is not G. Okay? You figure out what the G is, or the true light, that light of every man that cometh into the world, but they don't attain it, meaning they didn't comprehend it. To comprehend it is not. When you figure out what that is, the true light is, and you can apply it to anything. You know about the light, you know about the fire, you know about the truth, you know about the falsehood. You know the truth, you can lie. You know the lie, you can tell the truth. That's all we're saying. All right? You want to be with us? They say, Faise, you phi. I say, yeah, you right. Because phi. That's just speaking about the golden ratio. You go look at what ratio means, the etymology of it. You're just going to find reason. Everything happens for a real sun. There's nothing new under the sun. Who is the real sun? Okay? If you know who the real sun is, you know who the false sun is. You know the true light, you know the false light. You see how it goes back to the center? Because you go look at what a phi symbol is in Greek. All right? It's going to bring you right around to the science of the binary code, which all of you have programmed right inside of you. Okay? In the center, focus. Go look up the etymology of focus. You're going to find that it leads you right back to the center, or the fireplace, which is your heart, or your anahata. Okay, the green light at the crossroad that you have where you meet El Qadir, the green one. All right? So you look at that phi symbol. Go find it. Okay? It's going to look like a circle with a line through it. That's zeros and ones. But what about it? It's superpositional. It's operated in a superposition, that golden ratio. Golden just is noob, all right, or the sun. And then you have ratio, or the reason, or the numbers thereof, or the math thereof, the mathematics thereof, or the science thereof. And it takes that true light to get people out of the dense state. Like what happens when you place something that is dense in the sun and you turn the degrees up over time, that which is dense, the molecules therein will start to speed up. All right? And it becomes less dense. All right? Or past dense, past tense. Okay? And all this is just bring it back around to the center, by the way. If you go look at the 16-year-old Mason teaches class hidden knowledge, you'll realize how long I've been teaching this same exact science. Everybody thinks day in by day out that I'm teaching something new, and all I'm doing is just reminding you about the dot. I can apply it to anything. The sun is your dot in your system, the solar system. The central science is your sun, and everything is orbiting. Listen, or is light. What is bit? Binary. Go and check it out. Orbiting the sun is you. And then you have a sun inside of you. Okay? That central point, that etheric point inside of you. Okay? Or Ethiopia, ether, utopia. And what is utopia? Okay? Well, you have to go through a process to figure it out, because the word uto is just auto. That's just dealing with the self. You understand? And pia, or pio, or pious, or piety is just dealing with purity, purifying the self, self-purification, okay, which leads to your transformation. That's how you find your utopia. At one point in time, Travis Scott was about to perform. I think he had an album called Utopia. He was going to do it in Egypt, right there, Tamaray, okay? The signs is right there. I think they wound up canceling it. But the word Travis is saying to what? To pass over, okay? Or to traverse. Go look it up. To skip from one realm to another realm. Go look it up. All right? So what is utopia? Utopia is saying no place. That's what it really means. When people say there's no place like home, okay? Or it's also saying good place. You go look it up. There's no place that's a good place, because when you look out into this world, it hasn't changed yet. We're looking for the finality, okay, or the finalizing of the success of turning this realm from amber light or divine world of nine. That's what we're looking for. It hasn't happened yet. So, okay, that causes for certain alterations in our aura. So if you're engaging in, listen, purification, self-purification, not point at that person and say they need to purify themselves. No, self-purification. You point at the mirror and say, I need to purify myself. And what else? In time. You have to do it in time. You should know what day and time you're in because of the day and time you're in. What do you mean by that? Time is speeding up, something that was already written, that the days would be shortened. Something would cause for the days to be shortened, like your scientists say, a mysterious force. All right? The realm you're in is speeding up and expanding and shrinking at the same time. You understand that? So all of you who are the elect, this is being done for you. All of you who are the elect, you're being called home right now. 80% of the people that listen to this live were here probably just to hear something about Rashad Jamal, and they don't remember me. They don't remember that I use big names for clout. They said, did he say that? We got him. Yeah, one more time. I'm going to say it closer to the mic. They don't remember that I use big names for clout. They don't remember that I understand how stars work. That if I take a star and pick it up and move it over to the left or move it over to the right, all of the little bodies, the planetoids, the asteroids, the comets, all of them, they're going to just gravitate to wherever the sun is. And they don't, I can say it one more time. They don't remember that I use names for clout. And they still don't get it. Some people they're going to take a soundbite and say, Phase One uses name for clout. Then they're going to bring more people to me. And you're not in control of this game. We are. We control the game. We control what happens. So when you're saying he's using his name for clout, don't you know you're right? Does that help you rest well? Because here's the situation. Because now we're getting into it. Here's the situation. You're going to have to find your way home anyway, aren't you? If you're one of us, right? So if you needed to be a worshiper, then we'll help you. What do you mean by that? Well, you said you want to send words up to the ship. No, I said I can't hear the worship. Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah, do you really see what you said you want to send words? Okay, then you got to get your tones in order. You got to know what to chant. You have to be able to speak a certain language. You have to know what time to speak that language. All right? You have to be able to sit in darkness and not be afraid. You got to do a mirror test. Here, let me walk you through the school so you can be like one of us. Come up here where we at. You overstanding now? I thought it was interesting. Oh, they didn't tell you. You can't do that. Go, all right, you do it right now. Put your legs inside you and stand there. And while you sitting there in infinite Indian style, I'm just going to walk up here on top of this mountain and wait for you to wake up. They're playing with words because they think that's all we've done is play with words. All right? They're playing with information because they think that's all we did, just play with information. At one point in time, it was written, I remember somewhere I read, it said, throw down your fishing poles and become fishers of men. All right? Right? Throw down your fishing rods and become fishers of men. People don't understand. That didn't mean turn men into money. You can't serve two masters, silly. It meant that the thing you were using to make money, the thing you were so attached to, you're going to have to cast it down. And it can't be about money. They didn't also read the fine print. Because when you read it, you'll realize when you make this not about money, you receive money. When you make this not about money, you receive abundance. When you make this not about money, all right, or you're not being a snake oil salesman, okay? And if you read my book, you understand what I'm explaining to you right now. Y'all better be listening. Then guess what winds up happening? They put another oil on you, and it's called anointing or appointing. So let's deal with what Dr. Arcazecansee put out. I'm still remembering your question. And let's deal with Rashad Jamal said he isn't. On record, he said he's not a Nuwapian. What if he knew that if he's saying he's one of us, yes, you are, unless you're not one of us. The problem is people think Nuwapian is a group. They think it's some religion that's just sitting there for people to join. No, Nuwapian is a mark in time. All right? So let's say this. Let's say there are beings who are in position to make things move. Heavenly beings, God, the source, divine, whatever you want to call it. Okay, let's say that there's a force put in position to make things move that lead everybody back to order. If I ask you, hey, do you represent God or do you represent the devil? Okay, if you're not going to sit there and argue me down, if you're one of us, you'll say, I represent God. But some people get stuck. They say, well, what do you mean by God? You mean God as in Yud? You mean God as, and I just leave them right there. And they still be talking to themselves. We got to get, and that's not, you can't do that. If you graduated from the school, you should be able to answer it simply. You understand? So I asked, yo, are you with the, our case for you? Are you with God or are you with the devil?
God.
Okay, that's simple, right? You ain't had to argue me down, none of that stuff. You had to sound big, grandiose, didn't none of that had to activate. No, it's just simple. It's a simple answer, right? You know people can't do that because they become too deep for their own good. Literally. They can't come out of the rabbit hole. Every time you turn around, somebody trying to, let's go down the rabbit hole. And I'm the only one standing outside saying, why? What's down there? You know what I'm saying? You know, let's go down here, bro. Why? You know what I mean? Okay, Alice in Wonderland. That's okay. You went down the rabbit hole. What did she wind up having to do eventually? She had to wake up, right? How about this? Instead of having to go all the way down through the fucking realm of Nod or Jahannam, how about just back up a little bit, up out the rabbit hole before you go all the way to fuck through there just to realize you got to wake up and come up out of there anyway? It's a spell. All right? Because that light down there ain't the same light. The rabbit hole is Sophia's world. Do you know people can be wise in all the wrong wisdom? You know, people can know all the wrong shit. What do I mean by that? I gave people the example before where I said, what if we, okay, let's say we're all on this elevator. You, Arcase, and me, you, Arcase, and somebody else, right? We all three of us on this elevator. And let's say I know everything there is to know about the elevator, right? I can tell you about the pulley system, when it was made, all of that. I just don't know how to get out of it when it's burning, right? And then the other person that's next to you, he don't know shit about the elevator, but he learned how to get out of that bitch when it was burning, right? So now the elevator's on fire. Simple question. Who you need to listen to? Simple answer would be the one who knows how to get out of it when it's burning. Now, let's flip it.
Thanks.
If we were taking a test on the elevator, you don't need to listen to the motherfucker who don't know nothing about the elevator. The one who know everything they need to know about it, that's who you listen to. It's a time for everything. So let's do it again. Which side are you on, Arcades, God or devil?
God.
Okay, so when you speak and when you teach out here in the world, are you a representative of the 6 ether forces or the 9 ether forces?
9 ether.
Okay, do you represent the moon or the sun?
The sun.
All right, are you a representative of the sun?
Yeah.
Okay, are you a deputy of the sun? It's the
Yeah.
same word. It's not a trick question.
Okay, yeah.
Because if I just say deputy in French, it just means appointed.
Okay.
It means
Okay.
assigned. You
Right.
understand that?
Right,
So
right.
do you know that the word Nawab means deputy? Nawab also means representative when you speak in the word Arabic, language Arabic or Arabic. All right. So are you a Nawabian or not?
If that's what it means, then yeah.
Listen, here's the science. If you act like you know what Nuwupu means, you're not one of us. Because Nuwupu, if you say you know what Nuwupu means, now, you see how I'm saying it like that now? You say, what the fuck just happened? Exactly. What just happened? Now, if I ask somebody what just happened, they're not going to be able to tell me. Now watch this. Nuwapian, Nuwabian, Noap, Eon, Noob, Eon, Nubian, Nubian, Noob, Eon. Say what? Exactly. Trying to figure out and say that you know for sure without talking to the one who brought you to science what Nuwapian or Nuwupian actually means is like listening to a Kendrick Lamar verse as a fan. Do you know that a Kendrick Lamar fan will come up with 70,000 meanings for his first line? And they're going to think they know what it means. And they ask him, did you mean that? And Kendrick Lamar, I didn't mean 70,000 of them points. Shit, I just meant what I said. Nigga say, I was sleepy, I went to bed. See, when he was sleepy, nigga, you ain't listening. He was telling you he was deprived of oxygen, and that meant death. So he had to go back to the beginning, the bed again, and the bed again, nigga. And niggas be like, yo, I didn't mean none of that shit. Huh? So sound right reasoning. If it sound right, it's for a reason. What don't sound right is somebody saying they one of us and saying they're not a Nuwapi. That don't sound right. So we want to know the reason. That's it. This is where sound right reasoning, Nuwapu, where people talking about non-ether. Do you know non-ether tie right into Nuwapu or Nuwupu? All right. If I say I'm gonna take all of the combination of all the existing gases and line them right up and say, wow, there you go, non-ether. Okay, you say, what are you talking about? Well, you heard everybody talk about 999. You see people with 999 on their name?
Yeah.
Ask them what it really mean though. What is 999? Because if you got it on there, it should mean something to you, right? Well, it's just simple. Keep it simple. 9, knowledge. 9, wisdom. 9, understanding. You put that all together, you get 9, mind. So if you replace what I just said, 9, knowledge, 9, understanding, 9, wisdom, and you put the word right there, you get right knowledge, right wisdom, right understanding. And if you put all that together, you don't get 9 mind at that point. You get right mind, don't you? This is where you get right back to the center. Hope you're listening. Golden ratio. We have been talking in code because that's how our genes work. If you don't have a code, then you don't have genes. You're built with code. So we speak in code because it also makes it harder for the 6 ether forces who can't even comprehend the code to stop it. You can't stop Nuwapu. You can't stop it. How you gonna stop some shit you don't even know what the fuck it is? You know what I mean? You see in videos, niggas just get to shooting because they don't know where the fuck the threat is coming from. And then you find out the shit is coming from everywhere because it's a bioweapon. No, that's real. You'll see somebody get a choking up because they release a bioweapon, niggas start shooting. He don't even know what he's shooting at. He's just trying to survive. It's coming from everywhere. You'll know that if you stand in the center. You know what I mean? So my point is this, family. Literally, my dot is this. If I'm saying 999, 9 to the 9th power of 9, or the top of the 9 ball, or the space, matter, and time, or if I say the 9 ball, I'm saying the sun, by the way. How would I tell you that? If you take a piece of construction paper and draw a circle, you just drew the sun. You could tell anybody that, hey, this is the sun. You could also say it's a circle. You could also say it's the beginning of a stick figure image of somebody's face. You can say whatever you want. You got control over that pen. You can say whatever you want to say. One thing that nobody could debate is it's 360 degrees. You understand that? 3 plus 6 equals what?
9.
And you know that science too, that 9 times 9, whatever, 9 times 8, whatever, 9 times 5, whatever, 9 times 1, whatever. It still would add up to what?
9.
Because the truth always finds its way back where? To the center. So I don't understand what this whole anybody is, well, other than the fact that he was given improper information, okay? Or anybody that's teaching that I'm against Dr. York is fallen angel in the flesh. He ain't talked to me. How would you know that? He ain't talked to me. Nobody. I don't want people to get lost in the sauce here. You have not talked to me. You don't know where I'm from. I could be a fallen angel in the flesh. I could be a rising angel in the spirit. You haven't talked to me. You just said you don't know who I am. So when you take all of the spiritualism out of it, he say whether or not phase 1 is a fallen angel in the flesh or a God that came up out of the skies, is he speaking the truth? Does it sound right? What's the reason? And does it lead us back to the center? How do you know if everything is somebody saying is true or anything somebody saying is true? It checks out. You check it out. You don't believe them. Why you don't want to believe? Because you don't want to be left. It's in the word. Belief. Yo, you should deal with belief. Why would I want to be left? No, I want to be right where I'm supposed to be. Be right. Which is where? In the science of knowing. So you don't set yourself up for a trap. You shall know the way. Truth. and the truth will make you free. It'll motivate you to get free. You can't just get the truth and be like, okay, I got the truth, and just stand there and say, nah, I know what it is. You have to cause for action with that truth. So to the brother Rashad Jamal and everybody who follows him, which you shouldn't follow anybody, you should be walking alongside them. That way, if they trip up, you can point and say, nigga, you missed a step. That's why I tell people walking with me, don't follow me. You understand? Walk with me. And if you look around and you don't see me there anymore, and I already told you, walk toward the sun, face the rising sun, go in that direction, walk right up to the sun. And you look around, you see me not walking toward the sun no more, you be a damn fool to not keep walking. You keep walking so you don't get left. You don't want to be left. You want to be right where you're supposed to be. And that's in the center, okay, which you bring back around to that solenoid I was telling you about. Go study that so you'll understand that when that type of energy comes and that magnetic field is spawned from that, okay, which brings you to the type of corona science that I know a lot of people don't want to talk about that no more because the algorithm will shut you down. So I won't go too deep into that. But when I use the energy from the electricity that passes through to cause for that magnetic field to open up, I can cause for linear motion, right? I could bring forth linear motion, meaning I could set something where you want to be. You walk right the middle path, as they call it, and keep walking in the center. That's why Nuwupu is a neutral science. And I put in one of my books, neutrality is where you're going to be able to get home through. The new and true reality, because you're leaving the false one behind. All right? Well, before we get up out of here, I'm going to make sure we get at least 2 more questions about the arcades. I know people are listening. I know they're traveling, but I don't want to lose nobody.
Okay, bet. I wanted to ask, why did you think they try to unalive you? And then I heard LifeWave got shot too. So I'm trying to figure out like why you think they coming for the Nuwapians. It's pretty, I feel like, well, everything you explained is self-explanatory, but from your words. And who do you think it
I can't
was?
speak on LifeWave. I was grateful that he made it out. You know, I told him that I can't speak on him. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother situation also. You know, he actually got shot. All right. So I don't know anything about that situation. He would be a better person to ask that.
Okay.
For me personally, that ain't the first time, family. It's just I had a message to get through. So it happened at a divine time. I know that might sound crazy, like damn, this shit got it happened at a divine time, which is why I think that video went viral, because more people were able to hear Dr. Melakazi York's name. You understand that? I was like, yo, they don't want Dr. Melakazi York out of prison. Why would I be getting shot at? And it's interesting you asked that because people are saying it was Rashad Jamal. Like, I don't see phase one under these attacks. I don't know why people need me to be under the same attacks that they're under. Attack is an attack. You know, like I said, they'll try to kill some people, defame certain people, lock certain people up. What I will say is if phase one isn't here, then phase one isn't able to do what phase one is able to do. Only thing they're not reading is I won't be able to leave until I do what I'm supposed to do. That's what I programmed. Now, I did not program a fail safe. You understand? I just programmed plan A. I did not program, oh, this is going to work, this is going to go wrong, so it's going to be an exit. I just programmed plan A. And I knew plan A since I was like 5 years old when I was standing on Tamaray and I saw the statue of the living Messiah called Yeshua on the Ankh laying on the ground, all right? And they nailed him in the ground. And my Omi was crying and I told her, I'm going to fight. So people like, how are you out here the next day if you just got, your house just got shot up? It wasn't my house, by the way. It was my wife's house, okay? And there's a whole other thing that happened with that. People don't understand. It's way deeper. Some things I ain't even said, okay? Because I know people wouldn't even believe it. And I don't want them to believe it, so I just leave it where it's at. The point is, they thought they hit me. I know they thought they hit